Hi, friends. Chris Kelly here. Hey, it's midweek. Time to look at what's going on in the market. And I wanted to talk a little bit about an article that I came across over the weekend. I thought it was good. I thought it was worth conversation. That's for sure. So, hey, before we go there, very quickly, again. On the 22nd of this month, it's just a couple Saturdays from now, we're going to have our annual paint and paper recycling day. Here at my office, we have a big parking lot on the east side of the building. There'll be a paper shred truck, trailer for paint recycling. We take all that to Metro for you. So from 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock, we'd love to have you out here. If you have some things to get rid of, we're happy to help. And we just love to see you. So there's that. All right. Well, let's dive in and talk a little bit about what's going on in the market. It's a lot of the same. Let me minimize this. Listings are coming up a bit. Actually, they're down a little from last week, but in general, they've been trending upward. Everything's off a little bit, but these numbers are so nominal that, especially this one, is so nominal that it really isn't. It isn't like a trend is changing. It's still just kind of plateauing, and it'll trend up again as we move into Q2 and into the balance of spring. The pace of the market, which is what this average median day number really represents, is cruising along. I mean, one thing I noticed that was interesting is the disparity between average and median has grown wider. That gap has grown wider. And really what that means is there's some listings on the market that are staying on the market a long time and screwing up the averages. But when you take, basically a median is just lopping off the top and the bottom X percent. I think it's 5%. But when that happens, this is kind of where the meat and potatoes of the pace of the market is. And that's pretty fast. I mean, it was fast again by this time. We kind of had a version of this back in 2020. The market had a pause and then it started moving again. But look at 2019. I mean, we're still a faster pace sales market than it was then, albeit a lot less sales. Those sales are off 35%, say 30% anyway. So, it's kind of more of the same. There's less going on, but overall there's less listings, and that's keeping pricing largely buoyed. So, kind of the same story, different week where that's concerned. What does it all mean? Well, it means that you're not going to come in. It's super unlikely that you're going to come in and beat somebody up by 10% or 15% on their price. It's also a possibility that there'll be multiple offers depending on the house and the circumstances. Like I said, a house on a 1 to 10 scale, 8s through 10s always sell. They usually always sell quickly, and they usually always get the money. So, obviously be mindful of what you're looking at as a buyer. Is it an 8 through a 10? Is it a 4 through a 7 on a 10 scale? You might have a little more chance of a price adjustment there than you do in that really perfect house. So, and then there's those that want to look at the 1s through 3s, people that want to do fixers. Those might have bigger opportunities to talk price, of course. So, all right, let's pivot a little bit to this article. So there was an article in a oh golly, where'd it go? There we go. In Builder Online magazine, in e-zine or e-zine, e-magazine. That's what I'm trying to say. What is the millennial mindset on owning versus renting? And I was like, well, that's interesting because, the millennial generation's huge numerically. It's going to be the biggest generation of buyers ever. So, homeownership has traditionally been considered a key component of the American dream. In fact, 98% of millennials want to become a homeowner at some point if they haven't already. And that's a survey of 1,000 people of that generation. So of the ones that have bought, almost half of them did so for equity reasons. We want to build our own equity rather than our landlords. Sure, makes good sense. A close second on reasons that they did buy: change in life stage or life circumstances, new job, children, marriage, all the things that I talk about pretty much every week. Um, and of course, that makes sense. Now, on the flip side, what's the main reason for those that are renting to keep renting? A lot bigger gap in this. I'm waiting for home prices to come down. That was over half. That was the big winner. And the next, a distant second, was I can't afford the location that I like. Well, that makes sense. And that's often the case no matter what. But the big one is that, and that's the one I hear every day of the week. We're just waiting for prices to come down. Like, well, might be a very long wait. Or why do you think they're going to come down? I mean, all the things I talk about here week in and week out kind of answer that question or address that question or that statement. I'm waiting for prices to come down. If the rate of sales didn't change, but interest rates did, or not the rate of sales, excuse me, but the rate of inventory coming to market, if that didn't reduce along with less sales, then the inventory in months would go up dramatically. And as such, we'd start seeing pricing coming down. That's just economics at work. But what's happened is the inventory problem didn't change when interest rates did. In fact, there are less sales, but there's less inventory. And there's a lot of folks that have mortgage rates really low and they don't want to move just for the sake of moving. So they're not moving. So that exacerbates the inventory problem even further. My point is inventory has come down along with less sales, and that's keeping pricing from coming down much, if at all. So those are just the circumstances. And any good agent's job is to give you good information and good advice so you can make the right decisions. This is the information. It's the way it is. And yet there's still a giant swath of the largest upcoming our current buying generation that says, we're just waiting for pricing. Gosh, okay. So I don't know. Is that the best thing? I might say no. But this is where people's headspace is at. And to be honest, I read a lot of articles and I watch a lot of videos and I watch a lot of these guys that come online and go, the crash is happening. The crash is going to happen. It's right around the corner. Be prepared. Get your affairs in order. And I'm thinking to myself, good God, housing, whether you're renting, buying, or whatever, is a staple. You got to be somewhere. So what are you supposed to do? Are you supposed to put your life on hold? I would say no. That doesn't mean to turn a blind eye to what's going on in the market, because that would be massively remiss of me not to give you that information too. Hey, if prices were plummeting or if inventory was growing and prices were going to plummet, it would be incumbent on me to tell you that if I was your agent. So, don't get me wrong. Watching market data is not unimportant. Being sensitive to interest rates is certainly not unimportant. But life circumstances usually supersede everything. I got a new job in Buffalo, New York. Obviously, I have to move. Or, I've outgrown my house. I have 4 kids and I live in a 2-bedroom. It's probably time to move. Or do you want to keep living the way you are because interest rates start with a 6 instead of a 4, or whatever it is? These are the things that I talk about with clients all the time. So anyway, I don't want to sound redundant, but at the end of the day, that's what good advice is helping somebody step back, understand their circumstances, and make good decisions based on them. So anyway, I hope you find this to be of value. That's always my goal. And as always, we are here for you and yours. So if somebody comes to mind that you think could use our help, would you let me know? I'd love to help them. I'd love to at least give them some input. If they end up buying or selling and we can help with that, that's great too. But at the very least, we're here to help in any way that we can. So Anyway, as I always say, till the next time.